Okay, in the last video we talked about dev tool, and in this video I am going to introduce to you another important web development tool known as the CSS box model. But before that, if you are coming across this video today for the first time, please do wait to like, share and comment. With that aside, let's get straight to our code editor and see how it works. Okay, here we are in our Visual Studio Code, and the first thing we will do is to open the project we did in the last week or in the last video by opening with Live Server. And here, Live Server will automatically open our project on our website. So here we are, and the first thing I am going to introduce to you is the CSS box model. So let's go into our website here. On an empty space on our website, we right click, we go down until we see the last option, which is inspect. We open our inspect and we go straight to this the computed tab, and here we are, and this is what is known as the CSS box model. So normally every element has a space on which it takes on a website. So a CSS box model just analyzes a graphics work that analyzes how much an element takes, how much space an element takes on a website. So if you look at this, this is one of the buttons we created, and here the button is having a margin of 0 pixels. The margin is 0. And in the last video, remember, we say a margin is a line outside that element. And then our button or an element has a border of 0 pixels. So our button doesn't have a border. And then our padding of 0 pixels, and then the original element. However, let's go and then confirm. So if you come here, let's first inspect our subscribe button. So we hit on the arrow and then hit on it over our button element and click on it. So once we click on it, here is the box model for that button. So our subscribe button is having no space on the top, then 10 pixels of space at the right, 0 at the bottom, and then 0 at the left. So if you look at the border, our subscribe button has a border of 1 pixels on the top and 1 pixels in the bottom. And this is a default setting for a button. All button on the website comes with a default setting of 1 pixels on the top and then 1 pixels down. 6 pixels left, 6 pixels right. And then this is the original button. So if you go on the next element, which is our join button, our join button has a margin of 10 pixels on the right, a border, look at the border, the padding, and then the original button. So we are going to learn something new today. And here in the last project, we were learning how to put a space between one element to another, and we use a margin. Here it is margin dash left. However, if you are creating a button, this is not a standard way of doing this, because if you look at our project is now perfectly aligned and arranged. However, if you go to this join button and then you add something on the join button like join my channel, and then you hit Ctrl S to save, then here we run into a problem. If you add create a button that is very long, here we have a problem. And now this join button is up while this one and this one are down. So our 3 buttons are not properly arranged. Why? Because HTML button originally comes with a setting of text. So this alignment is aligned based on the text inside this. So this text is the one having alignment and not the border here. So once those texts are merged here, it will take a different system of alignment, and this makes our button to go up. Now, to fix this, we have to learn another CSS property known as the padding. A padding is just a way of adding a space on an element, but inside an element instead of outside. A margin gives a space or an element a space outside this element, outside of the element, while a margin gives it a space inside this element. So let's add a padding inside here and then see. So if you come to this sign up button and then come here and add a padding of, let's say, 20 pixels, and then we make it padding top, padding column, padding dash top, and then we save. If you look at it very well, look at the button now, it's very bad. Those texts are aligned down, leaving a huge amount of space up while forcing those texts to come down. So that is padding. Padding gives a space down. And then if you come back in the same place and say padding bottom and then say 20 pixels and then save, you will discover that no significant impact has been done because we are using a default of width and height. So we are using a height of 40 pixels and a width of 120 pixels. So we are forcing everything here to be inside this height of 40 pixels here. So that is it. So if you come back here and then remove this height, remove the height and then save, you will discover that our button, sign up button is now properly arranged based on its own arrangement. And then if you come to the joint button, and then remove the height and allow it to float itself and save, this will give us a better performance. And then if you come up here on the first subscribe button and then remove the height of 40 pixels and allow it to float, then you discover that we run into another problem by solving another problem. So how can we do this? The best way to do it is to add padding to this button so that it will match everything here. So let's go here to the subscribe button and then instead of adding height, we add a padding top of 10 pixels. We save. Then we add another padding bottom of another 10 pixels and then save. Okay, let's increase the top one to something like 12 and the padding button to something like 12 again and then save. So our button is now properly aligned. So that is it. So let's come down to the subscribe button and arrange it. The sign up button, we will remove the padding 20 and say padding 12 pixels and then padding button of 12 pixels again and then save. So our button is now properly arranged. However, this one is not arranging. So first thing we do is to go to the subscribe button and say something like, so in order to align this weight alignment or solve this weight alignment, we come to the join button and type something like vertical align, then we give it a value of top and then save. So if you come back to our project, you will discover that all buttons are now aligned. So that is it. Here This one is not on the line because we use another CSS property called margin right. So margin right is here and margin right is here. And if we decide to remove it, this channel will float and push this one away. If you have watched this video to this point, I will urge you to please like, share, and comment. See you in my next video.